unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time. When has it ever been advantageous to underestimate intelligence in another person? When has it ever been advantageous to underestimate the intelligence of another person? How does it ever work out? Is it ever a good strategy? Listen, that's dumb. I'm currently in the back of my van in Brisbane, parked at a park, and Dum doesn't know what's going on, so she's making noises. Listen. Oh, now she doesn't do it. I guess I underestimated her intelligence by naming her Dum. Huh, Dum. She just licked her lips. Her dog lips. Her furry lips. But that's a real question, and that's the problem. We know there's a guy in charge of the world right now. Or seemingly. I mean, is the president ever in charge of the world? It's supposedly the most powerful position. Others disagree. Some people say it's bankers and businesses that are more powerful. Zuckerberg, maybe he's more powerful. And I get in trouble all the time for calling people idiots. I have a knee-jerk reaction to call people idiots. But I got to explain, and I've explained this before, that I believe I'm an idiot. So I know what I'm talking about when I talk about idiots. I've been one all my life. But the question is, when is it advantageous to underestimate intelligence? I keep getting in this endless argument on Facebook, just basically defending Trump's baseline character and intelligence as a human being. And it's so frustrating to me how many people seem to believe that they are smarter than Donald Trump. A man who owns tons of shit, is worth a lot of money, and is in charge of the world. But they're smarter than him. They call him a 3-year-old. They call him a toddler. They call him basically everything that I call your average people in San Francisco. But the difference is he's actually doing stuff. He's got things to show for his work. His work has consequences. Most of these people that call him stupid are in professions where consequences don't exist. Like, where's the consequences for Sam Harris? If Sam Harris doesn't show up for one of his brainstorms, thought experiments, what happens? Nothing. There's no consequences. If a transmission repairman screws up, consequences. Got an angry person out on the highway, sweating. Plumber, if he fucks up, you literally got a house full of shit. Consequences. Build a hotel. It's got to work. If it doesn't, catches fire, consequences. If it doesn't succeed, people go out of business. People lose their jobs. Lots of paychecks stop getting sent out. These people talk about how stupid he is. Oh, he's got so many failed businesses. Yeah, he's got 500 businesses, and let's say 50 of them failed. Let's say 10% of them failed. That's 9 that didn't fail. And the ones that did fail, do you think that money just was flushed down the toilet? No. That failed business ended up being somebody else's bottom line. Those people still had jobs until it failed. And these people criticizing Trump, do they employ anybody? When was the last time they employed somebody? When was the last time they signed a paycheck for 5 people, let alone 5,000 people. It just, underestimating his intelligence just seems to be a key indication of them lacking in intelligence. Like, it takes one to know one kind of a thing, you know? Like, I admit that when I call somebody an idiot, that takes one to know one thing applies. I'm an idiot. I recognize idiots. It's very simple. But intelligence also seems to work. You know, if you can't see intelligence in another person, how do you qualify as intelligent? Especially when that person's not a drooling retard. I can understand if you know, you're looking at a drooling retarded person, you know, and say, oh, that person's not very intelligent. Even then, I would step in and defend them. I'd go, oh, hold on here. Corky over here is actually very sweet, you know, and lovable, and brings joy into every room into which he enters. What do you bring besides your shitty attitude? You know, Corky's probably smarter than you are in those regards. All these different kinds of intelligence. I've gone over this, but it's really something I want to hammer home. There are just so many different kinds of intelligence. And the inability to spot it, to see it, to acknowledge it, seems to be a huge indication that a person isn't very smart, or they're at least not very wise. It is completely unwise to meet another person and not understand that they're probably smarter than you in one or more realms, maybe many. You may as well just assume they're smarter than you in all of them. Why not? What's the advantage in thinking they're dumber than you? Even if you're trying to con them, you should assume that they're smarter than you. That way you can make a really good con and not get caught. You know, okay, so thinking about it, I was thinking about this on the drive to the park today. When would it be advantageous to underestimate somebody's intelligence? I think the only time is if you're devising a plan, a marketing campaign to have them exterminated or otherwise dealt with badly. If you can convince yourself and others that they're dumber and worth less, then it might be wise. Maybe because then you could, you know, you could give yourself the power and the wherewithal and the, you know, justification for marginalizing them, or, you know, treating them poorly, maybe even killing them. But that's still a mental... Are you really underestimating their intelligence at that point? Or are you just convincing yourself that they are dumb so that you can get away with your bullshit? But yeah, so next time you feel like calling Trump dumb, just stop. Just slow yourself down and think about it. Think about what you're doing. Look around you. Look at what you've done. What are the consequences of what you've done? What are your responsibilities? Who are you taking care of? How many checks are you signing? And the decisions you make, how does it affect lives, and how many? Is it just your life, or is it the lives of many people? And what do you do with that responsibility? Anyway, that's the way my brain thinks. I'm immediately triggered to defend the accused. And boy, have I defended some of the worst. But I can't help it. It's literally like I've said a million times. When I hear somebody attack somebody else's character or intelligence, my immediate response is to say, well, what makes you so fucking great? And I can't do that much online, because when you do that, they go, oh, well, you're making it personal. You know? And I go, but it is personal. when you attack somebody's character, you've just got to have, I don't know, you just got to be able to back it up with a weapon, I think. That brings me to another point that I'll discuss maybe in a later podcast. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.